Okay, guys, so sorry about that. Teacher next door had an emergency, so I got to play first. We're going to do a little brain warm-up here, so I'll read it to you. So Cindy, high school cheerleader, told her fellow cheerleaders that she was worried about changing for practice in the locker room. It seems that she overheard the science teacher, Dr. Smith, telling the principal he had just invented an invisibility potion, which turns whoever drinks a sip of the potion completely invisible for 24 hours. Bad news was that someone had stolen the bottle. Cindy was worried that the thief was a guy and he might be invisible and hiding in their locker room. Jane, another cheerleader, head cheerleader, and also president of the science club, believed Cindy since she knew Dr. Smith was working on the potion, but she told her they had nothing to worry about. So our question is, since Jane did not know, she did not steal the potion herself, and she didn't know who had stolen the potion, how could she be so sure that the locker room was safe?
This was a girl.
She does not know who did it.
It was a girl's fault. The door
Just invented it.
That's wild.
No. Good thinking. So the clue here is that something changes functionally when you are invisible. So if I were to become invisible, something about me would be completely different than my non-invisible self. Not your clothes. That would have to be the sacrifice you'd make to be invisible. You'd be blind. Why would you be blind?
What?
Because your eyesight.
Oh, because blind retinas.
Right. Light has to bounce off my eyes so my brain can perceive what I'm seeing. So if light's going straight through my head, my eyes aren't picking up any information. I don't know what my surroundings look like. I am blind.
That's wild.
Yeah, man. Pretty wild.
So this person cannot see what they're doing. The Invisible Man from all the old movies, who messes with people and plays with their heads, he would just be bubbling around, bumping into stuff because the light passes through his head. So normally what light does is you see an image, light bounces off the image, it goes into your eye, it goes through your lens and hits your retina on the back of your eye, but it flips upside down when that happens. So then once the information hits your retina, it has to go through your optic nerve into your brain, where your brain flips it right side up.
What if you are already?
You're already blind, and then you became invisible. No difference. Yeah. So whether your eyes work or don't work, the light has to hit your eyes. So if your eyes don't, I mean, it's looking for the light to bounce off if you can't see. All right, apart from that, we're going to do some vocabulary. So I'm going to hand out a sheet for you guys. We're going to sprinkle some videos in here and there to give you some better groundwork, lay some groundwork. Take one, pass it back.
It's a thing.
Jasmine, you said right with.
is, right? I mean, no. Is it or not? That's all I ask. But, I mean, the Eagles are going to no, but it's I have got it here.
All right, here we go. So this is going to go a little different style than we usually do, where I write them. So if I'm going too fast, let me know. But I'm just going to do the brain health and give you some of the background information on each piece.
Do you have the works?
Nope. Oh, like a done copy of the old vocabulary?
No,
Yeah.
that's the new one.
Oh, this one? What do you need it for? Oh, I'll give you one out.
Yeah. Thanks.
Your focus is right on the top. You see this little piece? Yep. All right, so just the brain health is the only piece you need. So we see ecology, eco means house in Latin. So we're talking about the study of our house. But we're not talking about our house or our address or any of those pieces. Is that working? Okay. We're studying planet Earth. It's the place where we live, it's our residence. So what I want you to put here is a balance beam with a fulcrum in the middle, remember your science 9. And on one side I'm going to put bio. That's all the living things in my house. And everything that's non-living, abio. So if you think about the biotic components of this room, we talk about humans, we can talk about bacteria that are growing, we can talk about the turtles, the snakes, the geckos, the tarantula. They're all biotic. What? Fish? Yeah, they're in there. They're meant to be for food. Escape the slaughterhouse.
So the giant goldfish in there?
He was never meant to be giant alive. He just grew too fast. He's got scars on his body. Okay. So our biosphere, sphere meaning like a three-dimensional globe. We're talking about planet Earth. That's our biosphere. Everything that's alive, everything that exists on Earth. I'll draw a rudimentary planet Earth here. I forgot Greenland, China. But we are only concerned with the biosphere and how the non-living parts or abiotic parts of that sphere affect us. Now, the Earth can be separated into 7 biomes or habitats. They're environments with predictable climates. So is it always cold? Is it always rainy? Is it always sunny? Is it like a desert or a tundra or the Arctic? Is it like here we have 4 seasons? The trees drop their leaves. So on this one, we're going to put 7 biomes on Earth. We have 7 biomes on the Earth we live in, and we can talk about what lives in each biome, how each biome is different. Habitat's another word for biome. We really want to be conscious of that biotic and abiotic. Abiotic is non-living. Biotic is living or dead. Dead is not non-living. Otherwise, we'd have shows like Walking Dead. What we call walking non-living. Yeah. Doesn't have the same ring to it. is also incorrect. An abiotic would be like we're getting attacked by a bunch of atoms. Rocks, yeah. All right, so if I zoom in on a biome or a habitat, I want to talk about the ecosystem. What are those small parts that are working together or against each other to maintain that system? So our ecosystem, we're going to talk about in reference to something that's visible, it's close to us, we can touch it, we can visit it. Our ecosystem that we're going to focus on for ecology is Lake George. Silly. See if it's the nickname George or Silly Lake. Because Lake George is something that we can hopefully get to. Normally we go outside quite a bit during this unit, but look outside is not so friendly lately. We can, but we're looking for like grass growing and bugs flying and ducks on the lake, and then it's not good. All right. So when we talk about Lake George, we want to say what are the abiotic things at Lake George? What are the biotic things? When we say abiotic factors, factors not only the non-living parts like rocks, water, sand, air. We can also how those change the environment. So it's the wind blowing, it's blowing the leaves off trees. That's still an abiotic factor. Things that non-living things have done to change the environment. But we're going to just focus on one, the water at Lake George. So if I pick up some water, I can say water is an abiotic factor. If that water is washing away the shoreline because of the waves and the wind, still an abiotic factor. Because it's something non-living that's changing the environment. Everybody good on these? All right, I'm going to take these down. We're going to slide up and talk about biotic factors. Biotic factors are really more interesting. We're going to start from the top. So a biotic factor is living organisms or environmental factors for the activities of living organisms. So we'll focus on one biotic factor in Lake George that we know is going to be there, and that would be a duck. We know we'll find ducks. I'd like to say like bald eagle, but we probably won't see one there, so we can't use it as a visual example. Is that on there? All right. Now, if a duck walks along the beach and leaves footprints in the sand, that's still a biotic factor, even though the sand is not living, because it's something that the living thing did to change the environment. If I go have a picnic at Lake George and I leave a bunch of crumbs for the birds to eat, that was a biotic factor. It's something living he did to change the environment. So not only the things that are living or non-living, but the changes that those things cause. Now, let's focus just on the biotic factors of our ecosystem. So if we take all the living things in one specific area that interact, we're talking about our community. So we'll say duck, fish, and turtle. Our brain health. That's our community. We talk about the St. Cloud community. When we talk about the St. Cloud community, we're usually talking about the people that live there. But community includes all living things, from bacteria all the way up to apex predators like cougars, mountain lions, bear, whatever. live around here. There's not a lot of bears. There's a couple in Fort Park. You know, if you have a whole bunch of different kinds of bears, you call them bears, but if you only have 1,000 of the same bear, you have the same. Okay, now if I look at the population of that community, I'm going to pick one animal in that community. We'll stick with ducks, and we want to count all the ducks. Now, if you know anything about waterfowl or ducks, there's more than one kind of duck. There's buffleheads and ruddy ducks, mallards, there's wood ducks. Trying to get some other ducks. My DNR book over here. But if we just want to count a population of ducks, we have to pick one species of duck. So we're going to focus in on the mallard duck. We're going to focus in on the mallard duck. That's one species that we can say there are 10, 15, 20 mallard ducks on Lake George. Now, if we're counting all the mallard ducks, that's our population. If somebody said, oh, what population are you counting? We have to say the species that we're focusing on. So we're focusing on the mallard duck. Population is the number of a species. Species is just, which one are you counting? Are we counting the human population? Then we only count humans. We wouldn't include monkeys, gibbons. Okay, we're going to take a second to watch a video to kind of clean some of this up. The first thing I'm going to do is show you a picture of the species of a mallard duck. So when we get to Lake George, which might be in 2 weeks, might be in 3 weeks, but we'll get out there. We'll know which animal we're talking about when we're counting, taking a population. I'll come back to this in just a bit. Don't worry yourself. Here's our mallard duck. So this is the female, this is the male. Males are brightly colored because they are trying to puff their chest, show themselves out to reproduce. Females blend in with their surroundings so they can sit on eggs and not be eaten. But these are both mallard ducks. So the population of mallard ducks in this picture would be 2. Alright. So let's kind of review some of those pieces. And this is going to be in reference to a lake ecosystem.
How big, beautiful, is in a complicated balance of life and death, predator and prey, friend and foe. The word ecology literally translates to the study of home, our home, planet Earth. The more specific definition of ecology is the study of the relations of organisms to one another and to their physical environment. It answers questions like, how do living things interact and rely on each other, or on their surroundings? The survival of any species is dependent on other living organisms and non-living components. This is called interdependence. For example, humans could not survive without plants to produce oxygen, and the plants need carbon dioxide from humans and other organisms, or even from volcanic eruptions. Ecology is extremely complex and difficult to study. So one way that ecologists deal with this complexity is to use ecological models to represent or describe the components of an ecological system. This model is called an ecosphere. The largest ecological system we know of is the biosphere, planet Earth. This is the only biosphere we study because, so far, it's the only place in the universe that we know has life. The biosphere is the thin veil on Earth that goes from above the ground to the deepest parts of the ocean. All life on Earth is in the biosphere. If you zoom in to one ecosystem, it's a little easier to see all the parts working together. An ecosystem is all the organisms in a non-living environment found in a particular place. The living things in this pond ecosystem include fish, turtles, aquatic plants, algae, insects, birds, and bacteria. These organisms interact in ways that affect their survival. For instance, insects and fish eat aquatic plants, and the turtles eat the fish. The non-living or physical and chemical things include the chemical composition of the pond, its pH, its levels of dissolved oxygen and carbon dioxide, and its supply of nitrogen, which all help to determine what kinds of organisms live in the pond and how abundant they are. A community is all of the interacting organisms in an area. It does not include the non-living factors. A population is all of the organisms of one type of species in the area, and an organism refers to an individual animal. In order, the levels of organization from the most broad to the narrowest are the biosphere, ecosystem, community, population, and organism. When we talk about where an organism lives, instead of saying ecosystem, which might still be a fairly large area, we could talk about its habitat. It's just a word that means the place where an organism lives. A habitat includes both biotic and abiotic factors. Biotic factors are the living parts of the habitat. And when you add the letter A in front of the word, it means not living. So abiotic factors are the non-living parts of the habitat. Using a pond ecosystem as an example, biotic factors include grasses, algae, fish, birds, and insects. The abiotic factors include the pH of the water, rocks, soil, sunlight, and temperature. Now you may sometimes hear people try to use the word habitat and the word niche interchangeably, and that's not quite how they should be used. A niche is the job or role of the organism within its environment. So habitat is a home, and niche is a job. For example, a redwood tree takes energy from the sun and turns it into sugar using photosynthesis. Redwood trees are often found in foggy coastal areas like Santa Cruz, California. The habitat is the foggy coastal areas like California, and the niche is converting the sun's energy into sugar by photosynthesis. Now, some organisms fill a very broad niche, and some a very specific one. Generalists eat a variety of foods, and specialists eat few or even just one type of food. Pigs are an example of a generalist. They'll eat lots of different foods very happily. This can be beneficial to them because they could survive on a variety of foods and fill a niche in many different habitats. The panda, on the other hand, is a specialist because they only eat bamboo. If bamboo is unavailable, the panda population may die off. The species has a much higher risk of becoming extinct, so it's often beneficial for organisms to be generalists.
Okay. Back to our words here. So our next piece is the tolerance curve. Tolerance curve is a way to communicate how well an organism survives or has offspring in its environment. So if we're talking about ducks, though, we want to compare duck births or ducks born to duck death. Say how much do the births replace what was there? Is the population growing? Is it shrinking? And then duck death can be anything from car to temperatures to low food starvation, predators, hunting, you pick. We usually categorize hunting as predators. I'm going to show you a tolerance curve of mosquitoes. And we'll talk a little bit about what affects mosquitoes. Why we have some seasons that are high mosquitoes and some seasons that are low. Here's your mosquito tolerance curve. So last year we had a lot of mosquitoes that were very high, a lot higher than the average number of mosquitoes in the population. So we were in the optimal range for mosquitoes. What changed other years is the weather. So as the snow melts, it creates standing water. Mosquitoes lay their eggs in standing water. If that standing water stays standing water, the warmer it gets, the more mosquitoes hatch. But some winters we have melting, so we have standing water. Then we have this snap freeze. we have this quick freeze. No, right now it's still just like gradually getting warmer and wetter. That's what we don't want. We want it to get wet and warm and then get really cold. And it kind of did that, but it didn't get cold enough for everything to freeze solid. So what that does is the elf mosquito eggs that are laid in that short warm window, they get frozen out and die. Right now we're going to have a lot of standing water. We're not going to have another snap freeze. So all the mosquito eggs that are being laid now should be able to hatch. That happened last year. So this year, be prepared to have probably more mosquitoes than we've had in the past. I know in my backyard I'm trying to plan for it. So I put up a bat box. So there's some bats that make their home in my house. Not in my house, but in my yard. Okay. Our next word is carrying capacity. Whoa. The last word is carrying capacity. And I want us to think of carrying capacity in reference to sitting in a hot tub. If you've ever been in a hot tub or a pool, there's always a sign on the side that says maximum capacity. Can you fit 4 people in it? Can you fit 6 people in it? Instead of big one like in the YMCA, you can fit 12 or 16. The hot tub has a carrying capacity. Now, if we break that carrying capacity, people don't die. Water flows over the edge of the tub. But in environments, if you surpass that carrying capacity, things die, things starve, disease increases. The DNR watches the carrying capacity of different populations of plentiful animals, and they'll get up more tanks, more permits, more licenses to hunt if we're reaching the carrying capacity. You can imagine how strange it would be if humans were hunted and they tried to level our carrying capacity out, right, to keep us from breaking our carrying capacity. So we'll watch a little video on carrying capacity, then we have 2 words left. We'll start today. Is everybody good so far? All right, let's check out a little bit about not only carrying capacity, but how are humans approaching the carrying capacity of the Earth?
A 1,000 years ago, there were only 1/3 of a billion people, but we were multiplying. Now there's 7 billion of us. How did we grow so much, so fast? Say this glass is North America. The fuller the glass gets, the more people there are. Water drips in as people are born. Water drips out as people die. Okay, here's the entire world. Now let's go back 1,000 years. The Americas are nearly empty. Europe and Africa have less than 100 million people between them. And just like today, most people live in China, India, and the rest of Asia. For centuries, things stayed pretty much the same. Births are canceled out by deaths. Women are having lots of babies, but most babies die before they grow up and have families of their own. We don't reach 1 billion until 1804. Things are changing. Better medicine and better agriculture are starting to slow the leak from the bottom of the glass. People still die, of course. But more babies grow up and have babies of their own. Lots of babies. We've grown from 1 billion to 7 billion, and it only took 200 years. Will we keep going like this? Probably not. The UN says we'll level out at 10 billion by the end of the century. So as we continue to grow from 7 billion, the question is, can the world hold that many people? Experts can't agree. It all depends on how well we manage our food, water, and energy.
Back to our going down, we do the last 2 words here, and then we're going to watch this on what could limit human population, what could be in the way, what could benefit us, how can we change this crazy amount of growth that we have. So we have 2 words on the next page, limiting factor and migration. top two, and then we're done. Again. Everybody good? Okay. All right, here we go. So limiting factor migration. So a limiting factor could be anything that keeps us from staying below our carrying capacity. So if you think back to your hot tub example, a limiting factor would be the size of the people in the hot tub. You put a whole lot of third graders in the hot tub, not as many offensive linemen. Okay, that's a limiting factor. Limiting factors can be anything from temperature, weather, food, space. Lots of limiting factors that we have to have in place that population has to agree to. All right, our last word is migration. So migration is when anything either comes to a new environment or leaves that environment. So we say immigrate means come to, emigrate means to migrate away. So if I decided to emigrate from the pool to the hot tub, I'd be immigrating to the hot tub and emigrating from the pool. I'd be moving location. I'm going to change the ecosystem of that hot tub. I'm going to change the water level. I'm going to change people's comfort level. Those are things that happen to animals, like if we introduce, like we introduced the turkey to North America. Turkeys have not always been here. They came from Europe. Or we introduced the earthworm. Does anybody know what a snakehead is? A snakehead is a fish that came from India. And it's got big, nasty teeth. They call it a freshwater shark. And it has lungs, so during the night it can climb from one lake to another. And so there's a whole bunch of lakes in Wisconsin that are unswimmable now because these things bite pretty readily. They have no natural predators. They'll go after things that are bigger than that. I'll show you a picture of a snake here in a second. Everybody good on these? Give me about 30 seconds. Get migration done, you can go ahead and put this away. Put someplace safe. All right, here we go. Yeah, the DNR is very, very carefully watching these to make sure they don't get over here. Because originally people brought them because they like to eat them in India. And so they release some of them where they live to survive. And they come into a lake and they eat everything and they have babies and the babies eat everything. You can't swim there and the lake has to be shut down.
So they're invasive.
Super invasive, yeah, good word.
And you want to kill them.
Yep. Feel free to kill them at any
Like
time.
the carbon dogs do.
Yes, to a certain level. Harvard doctors still have a
There's still a season for them.
decomposing element to what they do. All right, so the last piece that I want to do here. How many of you guys have ever thought about a country or a family and you thought about they really can't support more kids? Why are they having more kids?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's some science to that. There's a reason why certain countries have more kids than others, and it has to do with their level of health, safety, food, education. There's all these pieces that go from third world country to first world country. And it's scientific fact that first world countries have less kids because they're not as concerned about their kids dying, so they have less kids. There's a difference between a kangaroo that has one offspring that it spends all its time with versus a mosquito that has 10 million offspring that it never sees. All right, so watch a little video here, and I just want you to understand that if you're going to change world population, you want to have everybody having less kids. This is some of the pieces that we have to follow to do that. A little longer video, but it's very much worth understanding where that key is.
Never before in history have there been so many people on Earth as right now. Our numbers have skyrocketed from 1 billion in 1800 to 2.3 billion in 1940, 3.7 billion in 1970, and 7.4 billion in 2016. The world population increased fourfold in the last century. So what can we expect for the next century? And what does population growth mean for our future? Will there be mass migration, overcrowded slums in megacities covering continents, diseases and pollution, chaos and violence over energy, water and food, and a human species focused only on sustaining itself? Will population growth destroy our way of life, or is this prophecy just ungrounded panic? In the 1960s, population growth reached an unprecedented rate, which led to apocalyptic prophecies. The poor would procreate endlessly and overrun the developed world. The legend of overpopulation was born. But it turns out high birth rates and the population explosion are not permanent features of some cultures or countries, but rather part of a four-step process the whole world is going through: the demographic transition. Most developed countries have already made the transition, while other countries are doing it right now. Let's go back to the 18th century, when the entire world, including Europe, was in the first stage of the demographic transition. By today's standards, Europe was worse off than a developing region, suffering from poor sanitation, poor diets, and poor medicine. A lot of people were born, but lots of them died just as fast, so the population hardly grew. Women had between 4 and 6 children, but only 2 of them would reach adulthood. Then the Industrial Revolution happened in the UK and brought the greatest change in human living conditions since the Agricultural Revolution. People went from being peasants to workers. Manufactured goods were mass produced and became widely available. The sciences flourished and advanced transportation, communication, and medicine. The role of women in society shifted and created the conditions for their emancipation. Slowly, this economic progress not only formed a middle class, but also raised standards of living and healthcare for the poor working population. The second transition stage started